Hey everybody, I thought I would do the controversial parenting tag video. I wasn't tagged in it or anything, but I just thought it would be fun to do it. I've watched a few of them, and I think it's really interesting to see everybody's, thoughts and points of views on these topics. So I thought I would go ahead and do one as well. Before I get started, I just ask that you respect my opinions and my thoughts, because like I said, these are my opinions and these are the things that work best for my family and the way that I choose to raise them. I respect everybody else's opinions. I don't bash anybody else for the way they choose to parent, so I ask that you show me the same respect. Please don't leave me any rude comments. Don't, just respect that these are just my opinions. So, and having said that, I will go ahead and get started. All right, my daughter's in here bounce around playing, so if you see her or hear her, that's what's going on. So I will go ahead and start with the first topic, which is pro-life versus pro-choice. This is kind of a heated one, so I'll keep it short and simple. I am pretty much 100% for pro-life. I know that in some instances of rape or medical issues or incest, something along those lines, I can see why abortion might be an option, but for me, I just feel like abortion is wrong in any other cases. I feel that if you don't want to have a baby, then don't put yourself in the situation to become pregnant, and so I'm just gonna leave it at that. I am definitely 100% pro-life, except for in those few instances I mentioned. The next topic is baby wearing. I don't really think this should even be on here. I think I don't know why it's really controversial, unless people are afraid that people are, not using the baby wearing items correctly. I think baby wearing is great. I used baby wearing products with my babies and I loved to wear them. My babies liked to be carried around, so it was great to be able to have something to put them in so that I could have my hands free to do things that I need to do. So I think it's great. The next topic is circumcision. This is another heated topic. And I only have one son, and he is 10 and a half. So at the time that I had him, there wasn't really as much knowledge out there about circumcision as there is now. And at the time, it was just what people did was circumcise. So that's what we did with our son at the time, and I kind of feel like on this subject, it's just to each his own. If you want to circumcise your kid, do. If you don't, don't. Don't, hate on other people if they choose to have them circumcised or if they don't. If we were to have another boy in the future, I don't know what I would do, and I'm just going to leave it at that. I feel like it's really kind of just up to each parent, and I think it's kind of a personal subject. So moving on to adoption. I think adoption is a wonderful thing. I think it's a great choice for people out there who find themselves in a situation where they cannot take care of their baby and they want to give it a better life. My father was adopted, and I know that for 100% that he definitely had a better life with his adoptive parents than if he had been raised by his birth mother. So I think it's a beautiful thing. I think it's great for people that can't have kids to be able to have kids, and so I think it's great. So I am totally for adoption. The next subject is baby piercing. I have 4 girls besides my son, and I got each of their ears pierced when they were babies. I never had any issues. They never got infected. I don't know if I was just lucky that way or what the deal was, but they never had any complications from it. They never tugged on them. I got mine pierced when I was older, and I was always messing around with them. I was trying to take them out, and they got sore, and yeah, so I don't know. I just did them when they were babies because I felt like that way they wouldn't remember the pain. They wouldn't mess around with them, like I said before. So I don't know, that's kind of another one of those things where it's like, if you want to, then do it. If you don't, then don't. It's just kind of another personal choice. Excuse me. The next topic is breast milk versus formula. Well, if you've seen my breast feeding tip video, you know that I am 100% for breastfeeding. Definitely before formula, but I feel that we are blessed to live in a day and age where formula is available if you cannot, for some reason, breastfeed, because it gives your baby good nutrients. If you can't, for some reason, breastfeed, but I definitely feel like breastfeeding should be tried first. I just feel like there's so many benefits to the baby, nutrition-wise, health-wise, and not to mention it's so much cheaper. It's free. I nursed all of my babies till they were at least a year old, if not a little longer. I just weaned my daughter about a month and a half ago when she was 16 months old. I wish I could have gone longer, but I just, you know, I don't know. She kind of weaned herself, really. But like I said, if you can't breastfeed, then that's great. You know, it's great that we have formula. So I respect people that use formula just as much as I do those that breastfeed. So the next topic is spanking. I'm just gonna put it as I don't believe in spanking. I don't see any positive things that come out of it. Now, if you're just trying to get their attention and you might pat them, but to spank a child to hurt them, I just don't think there's any good in that at all. So I don't spank in my house. That's something I don't practice. So moving on. Co-sleeping. Now I am a believer in having your baby sleep in your room, but I don't believe in bed sharing. Like I said, I breastfed my babies, so I always had them sleeping by my bed, like in their bassinet. And once they got old enough, I was blessed with really good sleepers, so they all started sleeping through the night pretty little, but once they started sleeping through the night, then they were in their own room. I loved having them sleeping by our bed in their own bed, because it's just nice to be able to in the night pull them in bed, nurse them, and they go back to sleep, put them back in their little bassinet. But I never shared the bed. I'm a lighter sleeper. My husband is a very heavy sleeper, and I would be so afraid that he would roll on one of them, and I think it just leads to habits of them sleeping with you. I just feel like your bed is kind of your personal private area for you and your spouse or significant other, you know, whatever the case may be. I just feel like it's just a personal space, and I just don't think that kids should be sleeping in the bed. But if you do, that's great, and I respect your choice. Now for kids, sometimes they'll have a bad dream and they might come in and crawl in bed for a few minutes to be comfort and stuff, but then I always lead them back to their own bed so that they do know that they can come to us if they're upset or scared. The next topic is, let's see, I lost my place, sorry. Home versus public versus private versus charter school. I am all for public school. I went to public school, my husband went to public school, everybody in my family that I know went to public school. My kids go, and my older kids all do excellent, straight A's, just, they do awesome in school. They're I'm thankful for that, and they all have really good friends. And I don't know if it's just that I'm lucky where we live, we have really good schools or what, but I think if you homeschool, that's great, more power to you, but I just couldn't do it. I feel like you'd have to be a genius super mom to be able to teach your child every subject that they need to learn about in school, especially when you get into the high school subjects where there's, you know, calculus and chemistry and, you know, all these complicated subjects. I just don't know how. I know I couldn't do it. I have a hard enough time helping them with their homework sometimes. But if you homeschool, that's great. I personally, I just don't choose it for my family. And I just feel like there's so many other benefits that they learn. I know people say that if their kids homeschools, they still learn to socialize. I'm sure they do. But when you're in a public school, you have to learn to work with other kids and to follow the rules of a classroom. And you learn about government rules and just all sorts of different things that I just don't think you get out of homeschool. But like I said, if you do that, then you're awesome. That's great. I choose not to do that. But as far as charter school goes, I think they're great too. I just don't see any reason to send my kids to one. And public school, I would never do private school. I would never do private school. I think more crap goes on in those schools than any other. So, the The next topic is vaccinations. This is another heated one, and I'll be really brief on this one too. I choose to have all my children vaccinated. I just feel like I could not live with myself if my child was not vaccinated and they were to catch one of those horrible diseases and possibly die from one. I just couldn't do it. I feel like there's a reason why we have vaccinations. They're there to help protect your children. And I don't think there's enough research or things to prove things that go on and people say about vaccinations harming their children. You know, and you're taking the risk too of your child being sick. So it's kind of like, you know, which one do you choose? Or I choose mine not to catch those illnesses. And we do the flu shot as well. One of my kids did have the flu, and I watched them suffer for 8 days, being sick, throwing up, chills, fever, and I was like, I cannot watch my child be sick any longer. It was painful for me to watch them be sick with the flu. It was horrible, and I'm like, I'm not putting my child through that again. And I know this year they say the flu is really harsh this year, and they've had numerous counts of infants dying from the flu, and I'm like, I imagine putting my baby, you know, at risk to die from a flu when you can go have them get a shot to prevent them from getting it. So like I said, that's just my opinion, so just please respect that. If you don't choose to vaccine, then that's great for you and your family. That's your choice. That's what makes living in this country so great. We can choose what we want to do. So the next topic is medicating children. Now, I think that from what I've seen people talk about, like using Tylenol and that kind of thing, I believe in being able to use medicine if your child's uncomfortable, if they're, you know, hurting with ear infection or a fever or your baby's teething. I don't see the harm in giving them a little bit of pain reliever to help, you know, so that they're comfortable. Now, and if they have like an infection, I think that it's great to be able to have antibiotics to help clear it. We've had strep throat go through our house many, many times, and I am glad that we have the antibiotics cleared up. And I know that they say if you don't, that the strep can go to your heart and can do damage to your heart. So, you know, I feel like those antibiotics and things are great if they're used appropriately. You don't abuse them, you know, same with the Tylenol. And if your child needs medication for depression or ADHD or whatever, I feel like, why would you not? I have a brother who suffers from depression, and I've seen him when he's not on it and when he is on his medication, and I couldn't imagine if my child suffered from that, not medicating them so that they can be happy and live normally. So I feel like medications are great if they're used in the appropriate way and you don't abuse them and overuse them. So cloth versus disposable diapers, I think they're both great. I have always just used disposable. I wanted to use cloth diapers with my last baby, but we never did. And so if we would like to have one more, and if and when we do, I would love to give cloth diapers a try, even if it's just while I'm at home, and then use disposable while I'm out. I think they're both great. So that's my thought on that. Excuse me. The last topic is the cry it out method. This is another one that I don't believe in. I don't practice the cry it out method. Now, if your child is really, really tired and you put them in bed and they just kind of fuss around for a minute, that's different. But if you're putting your child in bed and you're letting them scream and cry for 10, 15, 20 minutes to hours, you know, I just don't believe in it. I feel like, you know, they don't learn to feel secure. That's especially when they're newborns and little babies. That's one of their only ways of communicating with you. And I feel like if you ignore them, then they're not learning that sense of security that they need to learn from you. And I feel like they're only babies once too. And so I love to snuggle with mine and, you know, nurse them to sleep or rock them to sleep or whatever, depending on their age. I definitely do not let my babies cry themselves to sleep. So, but that's the last topic. And so, like I said, these are just my opinions, and I thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions for me, go ahead and leave me a question, or if you leave a comment, just please be nice and don't leave me any rude ones, because I respect everybody else's opinion. These are just merely mine. So, and what works best for my family. So thank you so much for watching. And can you say bye? Can you wave bye-bye? Can you say bye? Put your baby down. Can you say bye, everybody? Can you say bye? Wave. Say bye. Say thank you for watching. Say see you next time. Yeah, bye. Say bye-bye.